Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dobbs on Saturday night. And today we are going to have broadcast in YouTube only. So I hope as many of you can join in because it's a very special live session where I have with me. You can see on the screen here on my left, Mr. Jafar, who is the founder of Dr. Shield. And Jafar has something interesting to remind us all today, and also we will we have some other special announcements to make. So please stay tuned and be with us right until the end of the video. Uh, before we can continue, I would like to remind you all to, as the YouTubers say, please smash the like button and hit the subscribe button as well, so as to help our channel grow and try to get as many people for our session. Okay. So how are you doing, Jafar?
Hi, Dr. Ellen. Very
Yeah.
good. Thank you for inviting me over. It's been quite some
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I think we try to have weekly sessions, but actually nowadays there's so many webinars, and I was looking at the number of events happening in the MMA just for today. It's many pages long, so I think people are getting like webinar exhaustion. It's just webinar, and when I myself, when I get invitation participate in CME sessions, I also now is the decline, in the decline mode. Sorry, can't. But today I had one at 2 o'clock, now at 8 o'clock, and in between I was actually asked to join at least two others, so I had to say no. And I think it's just too tiring. And I had telemedicine in the late morning as well. So it's like spending the whole day online. So I think we sometimes need a break. But today I think we should talk because as I was having a text conversation with Jafar, I think there's some issues which are cropping up, which we need to remind those of us, especially those of us who run clinics. And the issue is with hiring locums. I think from what I see, there are a lot of locum groups, and then everybody says, "Okay, we want locum, and anyone available for this time slot for this day." It's very popular. So there are a lot of these locum Telegram groups, and people just respond and say, and the only criteria they say is valid APC. And I think we shouldn't forget a lot of these locum doctors may be freelancers in private, possibly, but many would also be still employed by the government. So one of the things we have told and reminded in the past, but it's actually no harm reminding, is that if you're a government doctor and you do private locum, to protect yourself, you should get medical indemnity, because as what Jafar will mention, they're seeing a rising number of cases where there's involvement of clinics, and the locums they hired do not have their own medical indemnity. So seems to be a loophole? Is that right, Jafar?
Yes, yes, yes. It is certainly true. Thanks for actually starting out with that right background information. First of all, thanks a lot for Dobbs and Dobbs members, because I think we have frequently spoken last year, and we have had very strong support, a lot of questions and answers which have always been exchanged between us. Thank you for the support of the platform. And yes, coming to the recent months, or rather the last year, we have had a lot of claims from particular segments, right? And one or two of the segments, you're absolutely right, is actually involving a lot of medical officers doing locum. Yep. This is actually quite an interesting space, because medical officers doing with especially government, right? Apparently the way they are renewing APC is, if they are from the private sector, they have to get their insurance. If they are from the government sector, they are not required to, right? So at the point of APC renewal, many of them may not want to, may not think they want to do locum at that point of renewal. and maybe they decide to do renewal thereafter. And when they go to some clinics and do locum, and unfortunately, if they get involved in a suit, they get they have to defend the suit, right? And these people are those people who may not have taken insurance. And we see a lot of such cases where medical officers doing locum who have been working in these clinics get sued and left without insurance. So this is
And
quite a
yeah,
number of rising cases. Yeah.
and the obvious thing is the government is not going to defend them, right? The government
Yeah.
is not going to defend them. They are not doing work in. They're not. These locums are not in the course of your normal government work. So, normally if the government gets sued in hospital or whatever, the government will cover you
Correct.
as a government servant. But if you do private work, the government is not going to cover you. And if you get sued, then you're on your own. Yeah, I think that's the it's a big risk. I think for anybody to do this, I think you really should be aware. But what about the consequences to the clinic?
So yeah, when a medical officer doing locum gets named, right? Obviously, when they're doing locum in a clinic, the clinic gets named. Yep, the clinic gets named, and if so, that's the second exposure. A lot of clinics are also not insured. Yep, because they are not mandated to be insured. So they have a double whammy. So number one, when these medical officers get into negligence suit, they get named and the clinic gets named, right? And both of them have to end up paying for themselves. We have to both defend for themselves. A lot of doctors who own these clinics may have overlooked that the clinic, if it is registered as a Sintian Berhad, is a separate legal entity by itself. And being a separate legal entity, they need to be insured on their own. That means the clinic has to be insured on their own. Or else, when such a case happens, the locum gets named and the clinic gets named. Both of them have to pay on their own to defend themselves. So, to
Right.
answer your question, what happens to the medical officer? He has to spend money out of his own pocket. Yeah.
And does the norm when the private practitioner, say the owner of the clinic or the person in charge has his own medical indemnity, does it cover the clinic?
So, if a private practitioner is owning the clinic, right, he is covered for his negligence. But in the event of a suit, the clinic also gets named. His own insurance will not step in to cover his clinic because the clinic, as I mentioned, is a separate entity by itself.
But I understand there are two types of sort of operating the business. One is as a sole proprietor, and then the other is if you register as a Sendirian Berhad. I think there are two ways. So how does Dr. Shield handle it with either case, sole proprietor or Sendirian Berhad?
Okay, so if a doctor owns a sole proprietor clinic, we have this special clause stating sole trader extension. Okay, so with this extension, what it means is we also cover your clinic if it is a sole proprietorship. Right. And for the doctors who own clinics who's a Sintian Berhad, we actually offer them at a marginal rate to cover their clinics against indemnity. In fact, if you insure a clinic by itself, you say, for example, you pay $10, right? By doing it as an addition to your individual indemnity on the Dr. Shield platform, you pay $3 or $4. I'm giving you an example. You save about at least 60%. Yeah.
Okay. And the clinic insurance is separate. And what sort of packages do you have? Is there sort of like, I know in for the doctors you have different risks, and for depending on the type of practice, whether you practice aesthetic medicine or specialists, you got low, medium, high risk sort of thing. So for clinics, is there such a sort of stratification, say, in terms of risk as well, or is it all lumped in one?
No, it's a separate policy. So what happens is when you go into the Dr. Shield platform, you choose your classification, right? And then you choose the sum assured. You choose the insurance amount that you want to insure yourself for. So depending on your classification, you will get all the options like 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. And then after that is done, we actually offer you clinic indemnity insurance, and that also comes in a different range. So we give you the entire range. You can choose, you can pick and choose whether you want 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, and all the rates are dynamic there. So you can actually pick and choose what is your comfort level, what is the sum assured you want, and what is your budget, and you can customize your own package.
So I like your platform, although I have to, full disclosure, I'm not with Dr. Shield, I'm with MPS because I'm not young anymore and I've been with MPS for donkey's years and I'm actually under low risk. So I don't, some of my colleagues who are in MPS and they have, we can see their premiums going up and up and up, and actually they're struggling. And then it's amazing that you have to pay premiums like over 100,000 a year in the high risk specialties. It's just crazy. So people are looking at other more affordable options, including Dr. Shield. But what I like about your platform is entirely online. It's great, and to get a quote, it's so easy. Let me post a comment, and the link is in the chat in YouTube. So I think if you want to see what Jafar is saying, you can click quote the drshield.com. Okay, so quote the drshield.com. The link is in the chat. Okay, I've just highlighted it here. And if you click that, so I'm just checking it, and you say classification, that is for the individual. So you cover even retirees, part-time. What about the medical officers? Where do they go? Oh, there's one with medical officer. Let me share the screen. Yeah.
Sure.
I think maybe it will be clearer to those listening, either live and those listening later. Okay, so that's the quote page. So that to get there is very simple. Just go to quote.thedrshield.com, and I can see the top one is says classification, right?
Yeah.
And so the medical officer with locum exposure will click on that. Limit of liability. Okay, let's say the lowest $1 million. Insurance start date, I want to start maybe next Monday, and automatically it puts the end date as next year. So it actually covers the following year as well.
So according to the insurance practice, right, it either has to be more than 6 months, or okay, now we have actually standardized. It has to end 31st December 2022. Because it's already after 1st July this year, you cannot buy it for this year anymore. That means you cannot just buy it for the last few months. It has to end next year, December 31st. So it also is in alignment with the APC regulation.
And they enter the email, and then if you have a promo code, if you're a Dobbs member, there is a promo code. Shall I dig it out? I've forgotten what it is.
Is it Dobbs 20?
Yeah, let me see. Dobbs. Forms. We had a link which where you get the promo code immediately once you submit it.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. I'll publicize it here. Yeah, it is Dobbs 2020. Okay, so if you apply a promo code, you get a little discount. I'll just test it out. Okay, I just put my name there. I'll just put my email there. It goes to the email, is it?
Yes. When you're calculating your premium, they ask your email, and straight away the next page would be your premium.
Okay.
And at the same time, what would have happened now is you would have received a sample policy contract and the code, all the terms and conditions in your email inbox.
Okay, so there is a discount to the premium, and the premium is prorated right up until the end of next year. Okay, the standard premium is actually more than a year because it includes the remaining months of 2021, and so you'll get it in an email, and then I won't click buy, of course. I'm not a medical officer doing locum, but if they click buy, then they go on to the purchase online and immediately get their certificate. Is that right?
Correct.
And they can pay by.
You can show them. You can show them how it looks like. Yeah, let's show them the next page. Buy now, because a lot of people are worried to press buy now, but actually it is not so bad, right?
Okay, yeah. Buy now, I have to fish out my credit card really.
Yeah.
And then I'm out of 1,000.
Yeah, you still have. So if you look at it, the entire purchase experience is super simplified. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it is very easy. Yeah. So go on. So
they're only going to ask you these simple 6 questions, and then I think 4 or 5 declaration. If you go down one more, so it's 4 declaration.
No claim has ever been made or lawsuit against me. Aware of any errors, omissions, offenses, might result in a claim made against you. Have you ever been subject of disciplinary action or investigation by any authority, regulator, or professional body? Have you ever been subject of criminal investigation? I think it's all fairly standard. And I think the questions are relevant because your policy covers retrospectively, isn't it?
Correct. So it's unlimited retrospective coverage and unlimited runoff also.
Okay.
So actually the experience, that's it. The 6 questions that we have asked you and these 4 declaration question, and then when you press proceed, it asks you for your payment.
Okay. So can I press next without forking out my credit card?
If you fill up, you can. If you can fill up, yes, you can. But
okay. No, I won't.
It's pretty much straightforward. Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward.
Is there if the premium is quite large, can they pay by installment, or is there a check, or what sort of payment methods are they subject to?
Okay, we are quite proud to say that we have many options. So you can even actually pay touch and go. You have we used to go Grab, but nowadays we also have an installment from a public bank, and we are working out installment with other banks as we speak. Right? It's interest-free installments. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's and also we accept bank transfers. You can talk to us for large amounts that you don't feel comfortable using credit cards. Yep. So there's a lot of options.
Okay. So don't be afraid to click through. And you don't have to click through until the point where you say there's no commitment, right? Until you pay. Yeah. Then the clinic part comes up when? After that? After you pay or before you pay?
Okay. Let's go back.
Okay. All right.
Because you chose a medical officer doing locum. That's why you didn't see the...
Yeah. Okay. Let me go back.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say...
choose any specialist or...
let's say GP, general medical practice. Okay. Limit of liability... sorry, just have to... Let's say 5 million. Okay.
Oh, 5 million is a big example. People may think we are very expensive.
Okay. I don't know. What's the usual clinic
1 million?
GP will cover? Okay, 1 million. All right. So premium is 1,199 with a discount, right? And that's prorated for remaining months of 2021 until end of next year. Otherwise, it's 1017. Almost the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
And then, oh, I
1017 is,
see. There's an add-on here, right?
yeah,
Do you want to add clinic indemnity insurance? So this is the part where the
correct.
GP has the option to buy, because I think, as you say, they are not aware if you are, your clinic is a Sendirian Berhad, you could be, the clinic could be named in a suit. So I think we had a session whereby a colleague shared also the problem where their
Correct.
clinic was involved and they had no insurance, so it was a very expensive um, occurrence for them, you know.
Yeah,
So you can have various clinic liability. Okay, let's say 3 million. So that adds on another 3,000 or 1.5. Okay, so you can play around with the figures.
correct.
And automatic reinstatement means what?
Okay. Automatic reinstatement means in the event that your sum, I should say, you have chosen 1 million. Okay. And in the event in that year, by March, that 1 million gets exhausted with a particular suit. Yeah. What happens is the moment your insurance amount is exhausted, your policy will lapse. Okay. And then after that, you have to go hunting to insurance companies to try buying insurance and replenish your limit.
Right.
To counter that particular desperate situation, there is a feature called automatic reinstatement, which means in the event that the 1 million gets exhausted with a particular claim, you can actually replenish another $1 million to see through the balance of the year.
So just click yes. And the reinstatement is the same original premium, is that right?
Okay, so automatic reinstatement is the option to replenish your insurance coverage in the event that your insurance coverage gets exhausted. Okay, $1 million coverage, it gets exhausted in say half the year, another $500,000 gets replenished for the balance year. That is automatic reinstatement. We charge you 10% more for that.
Right. I
Yeah.
see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why the figure goes up. So you can opt not to buy now, but you can opt to get email with the quote and policy wording. So that's
This
the
is
option.
correct. This is a very interesting page because it actually shows you the breakdown of your individual as well as your clinic, and you're free to toggle until you think this is what you want. You can even toggle between your automatic reinstatement and the numbers are dynamic. Yeah.
I don't think anyone else does this. It's only you. Is that only Dr. Shield? I'm not. I don't know, but certainly it was all of it is paper when I with the other ones I've dealt with. Yeah, but it's nice to be able to fine tune it to your liking. Yeah. Okay, so the clinic option will show up only for GP or specialists, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
not all specialists, but I guess those specialists who run their own clinics as well, right?
Correct. Yes. So
Okay.
I think it's also timely that we emphasize why clinics must be insured. This is something which I think we shared with one of the days with Dr. Kevaljit. Dr. Kevaljit joined us
Yes,
for a
Dr.
talk
Kevaljit,
also.
yeah.
Yeah, and we have also heard it from all our lawyer friends and a lot of other doctors, especially whose clinic have been included in legal suits. See, whenever there is a legal suit, if the clinic is involved in hiring your staff or hiring locums, and the clinic is a separate entity, it is bound to get named. Yep. It's bound to get named, and your individual insurance is not gonna pay for your clinic's representation. This is something which is worth emphasizing, because whenever there is a claim, the doctors call us and say, you know what, I am insured, can you please try to cover my clinic? No matter how many times we would have told them, I think this is something which is taken quite lightly, but trust me, when it comes to a claim, it's quite a big amount that it's going to cost the clinic. Yeah. And insurance companies are not going to say, okay, to do it as a charity. They are not. Yeah. They cover you, not your clinic. That's what they're going to tell you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's a very, very important reminder I mean, for those of us who run clinics outside your own or with the group practice, I think you really need to be reminded and take this into consideration. And the link to Dr. Shield is in the comments in the live chat, so you can click and play around with the live codes to tweak to your heart's content. Yeah, but there's an add-on coverage for clinic indemnity insurance if you run a clinic, and if it is registered as a Sendirian Berhad, I think you are well advised to take it up. Okay, so I think with the rising number of cases against clinics and locums, if you're a government doctor who is doing private locum, unless you are really, I think doing private locum without medical insurance is like going commando, as the term says. When you go commando, means you walk around without your underwear, so you got no protection, friend. So if you are a government doctor doing locum, please, it's not just APC, and the government is not going to cover you. You really have to have your own protection. And I think it's a modest sum. It is not a huge sum, but it's always better to for peace of mind, if anything else.
Yeah.
But it's still also, I mean, doesn't mean we don't. Prevention is always better than cure, I think, isn't it? And we always want to practice medicine in the best way possible. I mean, it's not that we have medical malpractice and then we can do what we want. I think what Dr. Shield has helped us, and actually you thank us, but we thank you actually for bringing all the whole entire medical legal series of talks we've had in the past year. Although you can't claim CPD points for many of them already, but at least go through them. Let me remind you of our channel, our Dobbs channel, which is growing. Please do hit the subscribe button and help us grow further. The channel has a playlist, okay, and amongst the playlists are the medical legal talk playlist. Okay, let me put the link to that and in the chat. So our medical legal playlist. Linked it in the chat now, so you can click on it and view all the past talks on our. Let me share it on the screen as well. Okay, so you can go to our Dobbs Malaysia. You just search within YouTube for Dobbs Malaysia, then you can actually click on playlist at the top there, and then when you click on medical legal, you can see all our other talks here, including about medical mediation, which is very interesting. Okay, legal liabilities and options, vaccines, aggravated damages. Okay, so I think there are a lot of interesting talks, and hopefully more to come in the coming months. If Fire can help us arrange more, and I think there are a lot of things which remind us and at least help us improve our level of practice, so that we don't fall into these medical legal pitholes. I think So
our lawyer friends have been very busy the last few months, because I think the courts are all opening up, and they have been overwhelmed with a lot of legal cases. So
the pandemic hasn't stopped the cases. I've had some lawyer patients tell me they're still going on, but they're having virtual court cases.
They're actually very overwhelmed. Maybe that is a negative impact of the mandatory insurance. I'm not sure, but they have been overwhelmed, and it looks like it's not going to stop. We know that there's quite a lot of exposure, a lot of risk exposure, a lot of cases going on. There's another thing which I wanted to, yeah, of course. So, thank you for being our partner on this medical legal series, and we will keep trying to get you more topics, more lawyers. But at the same, Dr. Allen, if you actually find requests from our Dobbs members on any particular topics to be covered, feel free.
Yeah. I think the forum is there for you guys to post feedback on what you want to hear, and I can let Jafar know and his legal team, and we will push out the talks to you. I mean, it's not just about CPD points; it's about learning. So I think if there's something interesting you want to hear, let us know, and we will be happy to try to organize it. Yeah. Mm.
Yep. And there's one thing which I wanted to add to our previous topic. Yep. One thing that we need to just keep reminding clinic owners, when you hire locums, do ask if they have insurance. Yep, I think that's something which all the hospitals are doing right. Yep, they ensure that any doctors who are coming to practice are all insured. That's something which clinics also must embrace. Yep, the risk is yours if you do not. Yep, so clinic owners, do take note. Please do ask and ensure that the locums that you're hiring are insured. Yep,
Yeah.
it's very important.
I wish to see in all these locum chat groups, let's say valid APC necessary. It should be valid APC and valid medical indemnity necessary. I think that should be these two things, not just APC. So whether they are private freelancers or government doctors, I think to make sure that the whole thing is above board and safe. I got to take a call, Jafar. Maybe you carry on for a while.
Sure. Yep. Yes, I think I would also take the example, the opportunity to tell the medical officers doing locum. If you guys think that the premiums are high, yeah, let me assure you, having seen a lot of cases, the claims that you have to face without insurance is a lot more higher. Yeah, and trust me, the insurance premium is a lot more cheaper. Yep. So get the peace of mind. I think that's definitely something which we recommend. Okay.
Yeah, occupational hazard. We always get disturbed by hospital anytime of the day and night. Yeah. So where were we? Yeah.
I was
We
just
talk about.
telling the medical officers doing locum who are concerned about the insurance cost being high. I was just telling them that the claims are a lot more higher. The insurance premium is always cheaper. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, insurance is when you need it, it's a bit too late if you have not bought it, right? Recently there are a lot of cars in the flooded, and it came out in the papers. I think all these cars will, if you didn't buy the natural disaster insurance, you take your car to the workshop. If you're caught in the floods, it will cause a bomb. So somebody was telling me, "Have you got natural disaster insurance for your car?" And then I think it was in Shalam or something. All the cars were underwater. There's a big flood recently. My goodness. So I think we do this and not to anticipate it, but always to protect ourselves, and whatever sort of disaster befalls us. I think it's better to be protected, right? Yeah. So that's medical indemnity. Okay. Anything else you want to add? Otherwise, we go on to the next interesting segment of our live presentation.
No, I think we carry on. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the before we want to keep, those people who came in, from the suspense of announcing the winner. Winner of what? Winner of our Smart Doctor Card contest, which we had last week. Let me share that YouTube page again. So this was last week's presentation or a live stream, and my guest there is Dr. Cheng, who's a dermatology colleague of mine. And for being a guest, we gave her a free Smart Doctor card. What is this Smart Doctor card? It's actually like the only contact or business card you as a doctor will need if you have a listing in our website, which is our sister site to Dobbs, right? Which we are just launching or becoming more active. So on it, and that's physician.my. So any Malaysian doctor who is a GP or you're a specialist, whether in public or private, as long as you have a fixed workplace, okay? You're not like a freelance locum running around, or even if you are a private MO, if you have a fixed workplace and you'd like to share your contact details with either patients or with colleagues so they know where you work. And sometimes for some of my colleagues who work in multiple places, you have clinic here and then you work in 2 or 3 hospitals. It's not like you want to have 3 sets of contact or business cards. It's crazy. So you can have like one listing and share everything, in one. But how do you share? I mean, of course, you could share the link, but it'll be very cool if you have a smart doctor card, which works like a through NFC. So if your modern phones, like all modern iPhones and most modern Androids, except the lower range ones, they would have NFC. So if you tap the card, the link will open up. They can open the link and view the contact. Okay, I've shared that, and I'll probably have another more demo videos on the different how it works in iPhone and Android later. But we had a little contest last week for those already listed in the physician.my. If you are not listed, you're invited to go to physician.my and take the submit your list entry, okay? And then we'll screen it. And once it is approved, an account will be created for you and you can edit that listing to your heart's content. So it's like a virtual electronic card, which is under the doctor's control. Okay, you don't have to rely on some other entity like a hospital or some other private directory controlling the data. It's you are in control. If your email changes, your phone number changes, or address changes, you can do it yourself. Okay, but with one single card, you can share that listing by tapping, or if the phone doesn't have NFC, they can still scan the QR code and will take that link to the person's phone, and where the person can just save it as a shortcut, save it as a bookmark in their home screen, or even add the contact directly by tapping on add contact to the phone. So it's actually a very neat way and saves trees and it's very efficient. So now, Jafar, maybe you can help me here. So last week, I had a contest and saying because it uses NFC technology. So I told them, what else might NFC stand for if we come up with a witty or funny alternative for the acronym NFC? So we had, we'll choose the winner based on it. So James Good, newfound confident. He put 2 entries. No fuss consultation. Yeah. Okay. William, NFC for now free communication. Okay. Tan Jun Liang, nice fuss-free communication. Andrew Chin, networking for consultants. And Sukdashan says, now found the card. And Dorothy Liu, not for children. Offstone, no further comment. Not for curmudgeons. And GT says non-fungible card. Those of you who are in like crypto world, there's this thing called non-fungible tokens. And Abdul Rahman says new function care.
Oh, wow.
Okay, what do you think, Jafar? What's the most? Maybe help me choose.
Wow.
Or or you want to leave it to me? I've already.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think I leave this to you. It's a tough one.
tough one. Okay. All right. I narrowed it down to three. GT Co's non-fungible card, Dorothy Lu's not for children, and Andrew Chin's networking for consultants.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are the top three. Unfortunately, there'll be only one winner every week. I try to have this every week. Okay. So give everyone a chance to win a free, yeah. Now, if you look at the commercial versions of these smart contact cards, there are a couple lists I've seen. Okay, they are about $40 one. Okay, of course they may have fancy design and all that, and some maybe even be metal. Okay, they have the same technology. They have the embedded NFC chip inside, and then you got to know how to program it and all that. And they charge you $40. Okay, and if you want fancier designs, it can be like 50, $60. All right. So here's a chance to get one free. Yeah. Okay. You don't have to pay for the listing. And every week we'll give out one free as long as this thing lasts. All right. Okay.
Dr.
Now,
Allen,
yes.
I like
Yes.
this no further comment.
No further comment. Okay.
And let's see.
Offstone, yeah, maybe Offstone will have another chance next week. Okay, I think I will pick my winner. Shall I, Jafar?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
I think I like Andrew's networking for consultants. Networking for consultants. So, Andrew, please WhatsApp or Telegram Ketua Dobbs if you're watching this. If not, we'll get in touch with you and we'll send you your free smart doctor card. Okay.
Congrats,
Now,
Andrew.
yes, congratulations, Andrew. Okay, all right. Next week, we'll have a contest. So I was wondering, scratching my head, what will be the contest be for this week? And the answer you need to post in the this video, okay, as a comment in this video. All right. So I think my question of quiz contest question of the week is in 10 words or less. Okay, why is it important to have professional medical indemnity and what does that mean to you? Okay, in 10 words or less. Okay, I might have to get Jafar in again next week to help me pick a
This one
winner.
I like. This one I
Huh?
like. Yeah.
10 words of less tell us in a concise manner why it's important to have professional medical indemnity as a doctor. Okay, so it's okay.
For
Oh,
this
Jafar,
contest,
yeah,
for this
yes.
contest, if you want to up the rewards, I'm all in.
Up the rewards. Maybe we have three winners, is it?
Uh,
What do you think?
I'm
Well,
with you.
I was
Yeah.
discussing with Jafar whether Dr. Shield might we might have some promotion on that if you are listed in physician.my, but if you purchase indemnity with Dr. Shield, we might have some promotion coming up soon. So watch this space where Dr. Shield might sponsor a smart doctor card for new purchases of Dr. Shield medical indemnity. Okay, but I will just enter. We don't know how many winners there might be. If Jafar can help, maybe we might have more than one. So please put in 10 words or less in the comments to this video. You don't have. It doesn't have to be live. You can watch this. If you are watching this on Sunday or even next week, the contest will run at least 1 week until the next live session. Then we'll announce the winner. Okay, in 10 words of or less, why medical indemnity is important to you as a doctor. Okay, the best answer will win, and there may be more than one winner. I will discuss privately with
Yes,
okay.
man. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we actually wanted to invite a lawyer in, but she had some untoward incident. But she's just messaged. She wants to join in now. Shall we let Puan Faslisa in?
Perfect.
Yeah, she's here. So I think if she can join in now, just for just another 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, any of you got any questions about clinic insurance or locums taking up medical indemnity? Feel free to ask because the man is here right now, Jafar. So, right.
Yeah. Even if
We'll
we are
wait.
not catching this live, and if you happen to say this in the comments, just let us know. I'm sure we can try to find the answers. Yeah.
Yeah, just type in the comments what you need to know. Okay.
Yeah.
But the comments are also for the quiz. The quiz participation. So to participate in the quiz, I'll elaborate in the video description. Number one, you need to be listed in physician.my. Okay. So you need to have a profile and an approved account. Otherwise, the card will be useless to you. Okay. So please list first. Go to physician.my and then hit on submit an entry, and then we will proceed from there. Then think of a concise answer in 10 words or less why medical indemnity is important to you as a doctor. Okay. So let's see if Fazlila can come in. Okay.
While she comes in, if you want me to fill up the time, I can tell them a few things about Dr. Shield for those who are not familiar with Dr. Shield.
Yeah, you want me to run a video also? I can.
Oh, yeah, why not? Yeah, that's even better.
Instead of
that would be really good. Yeah.
We're Dr. Shield, and we do insurance differently than most companies. Things like simplifying details so it's easy to understand what makes us Malaysia's most innovative indemnity provider. As a Dr. Shield client, you'll enjoy comprehensive coverage with fewer exclusions. With some insurers, you'll only find out what's not covered when you make a claim. Our policy details are online and easy for everyone to understand. Competitive premiums that don't keep increasing. Many insurers increase their premiums across the board to compensate for losses. Dr. Shield limits the number of doctors insured from high-risk categories, so our premiums start fair and stay fair. Prompt dispute resolutions. We're pro-mediation because settlement and negotiation, instead of endless litigation, is better for everyone. Career and reputation protection. Typically, litigation can drain a doctor financially and emotionally. We limit the damage by both, so our clients emerge good names intact. And peace of mind, because a happy doctor is a good doctor. Our different approach to creating policies means we put you first, before us, so you can enjoy your career and sleep like a baby, even if you've just delivered one. Dr. Shield, insurance with a difference.
Hi, Puan Fazlisa.
Hi.
So we are so glad you're okay.
Yeah.
For those, once Fazlisa had a little flat tire mishap, so but we are glad everything is okay.
Sorry to keep everyone sleeping.
No, nothing at all. I think Jafar had sort of given the background on this thing about clinic insurance and locum insurance, and maybe you can give us your view. Or there's something hiding behind you.
Yes. I can give you some background. Hi, nice to see you. I can give you some background. I was having a chat with Dr. Allen recently, and I was talking about how we are seeing a lot of exposures with medical officers doing locum, and and it's just unfortunate that a lot of medical officers doing locum have not actually been insured. So that was what I was telling from my angle. That's something that you want to definitely expand on, and if you agree with what I'm saying. What are
Absolutely. I am in agreement with Mr. Jafaya. In fact, for us, there's a few occasions where we do receive basically the medical officer who's doing locum. They've been pledging to us, if possible, to represent them. You see, because first and foremost, they do not have any medical indemnity, and unfortunately for that particular hospital, they are not been listed as the insured party as well. So when that issue arises, basically since there's no one for them to look for help, at the end of the day, they pledge upon us to see whether we can give a common representation. But the issue that we are facing is that at the end of the day, some of the insurance company will not want us to represent two parties because there might be an issue of conflict. So that's where they've been asking for recommendation, which firm that can assist them and that kind of thing. So it's a bit of hassle, I can say, for those local medical officer who do not have their own indemnity. Yeah, it happens quite rampantly recently. Yes.
Why do you think it's more rampant recently?
I believe now for the patient, I can see that apart from the those consultants treating the patient and also the hospital, nowadays patients tend to name the nurses as well as a party to the suit. And in fact, when there is a disclosure application, meaning that a request for the medical record, nowadays the patient would want the hospital to list down each and every name for those parties who are involved in the care management, be it the medical officer, the consultant, and also the nurses. I believe from the list that we have given, most probably they'll be checking with the patient who attended, to enable them to name specifically those doctors or nurses or even consultant who will be treating the patient at the material time.
Okay. And what are the biggest challenges you have when dealing with such cases?
Actually, it is quite sad for those medical officer for not having their own medical indemnity, because at the end of the day, for us, we are having difficulty to recommend another firm, to represent this particular doctor, because we wouldn't know whether that's the best thing or otherwise. And apart from that, apart from the expertise, legal fees is another concern. I can be frank, because it's not really cheap, for someone to represent those doctors in a medical legal. Although the argument from that particular medical officer, my involvement is very minimal, but that is not the case. You see, if we are going ahead with the trial, so you are dragged and you are involved in that thing as well. Although your involvement is minimal, by the end of the day, the lawyer need to be there for 5 days or 10 days, and we need to prepare the submission. Apart from the exposure in terms of the damages, there's an issue of legal fees as well. So it is best, for those medical officers doing locum to have their own medical indemnity. It's not so much on the legal fees and whatnot. At the end of the day, they don't have to be, looking around, basically asking, do you know which lawyer can you represent to represent me, and to negotiate about the fees and etc. Yeah.
So, what is a little premium compared to protection, not just on the, the suit, but also you have to pay legal fees, so it's double whammy.
Yes.
And all because you didn't take up
insurance. I mean, it's really easy to get a representation, because there's one case that I'm involved recently, where the medical officer is not represented because he's still looking around for a lawyer. And in fact, the plaintiff indicated, by the next time, if this doctor did not appear, then judgment in default will be entered against him. That whatever judgment will be entered, so you're there to see with the judgment, and if at all someone to step in, that particular lawyer need to set aside the judgment, and more costs will be incurred, you see. Yeah. So it's better to have one, based on my experience.
Dr. Ellen was asking me just now, what happens to this medical officer in this doing locum? What's the worst which will happen to him if he can't pay?
If he can't pay the damages, I mean the court award. Okay. If it's more than 50,000, so at the end of the day, they're gonna face with bankruptcy proceedings. And for us lawyers, once you are faced with bankruptcy proceedings, therefore we are not entitled to practice. I'm not too sure for those doctors, like, whether with the bankruptcy proceeding you can still continue with your practice. So that's the worst case scenario. Yeah. And of course, once you're bankrupt, everything will be blacklisted. It will cause you an issue. So that's the worst case scenario,
They can't take loans. You can't. Yeah.
For those patients, at the end of the day, even for the lawyers, basically, I can say that they are quite smart, if for sure whatever damages is going to be more than 50,000. So if they know with this bankruptcy proceedings, you're not able to practice, so they would use you as a threat. Whatever it is, you would just find a way to pay, the damages or the judgment sum.
Yeah. Okay. Very, very timely reminder. Okay, we were talking. We forgot to mention there are also legal fees. As a ballpark, is it appropriate for me to ask as a ballpark figure what sort of legal fees?
No,
it's okay not to answer if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I can say that for lower court method, the range gonna be from 75,000 to 100,000. And for high court matter, it's usually between 100 to 150. This is the range lah. I can safely say that. Be it a small setup or a big setup, because medical negligence is a niche matter. It's just that you need to engage another expert. So there's a lot of things, So it is not that cheap lah. I can say that. Yeah.
Puan Fazliza actually gave us a very nice talk. If you can look into our YouTube channel and the medical legal playlist. In fact, you were the first one to give us a lecture on the disciplinary procedures, medical disciplinary procedures, which can happen to any doctor. We will call up towards the medical council.
Yes.
And if you're a government doctor, the government doesn't cover you.
Correct.
So one of the other reasons, other than the locum, doing private locum, for a government doctor to take up some form of indemnity is also at the minimum, even if you don't do private locum, but having medical indemnity will give you a legal representative if you are called up to a disciplinary process. So, and I understand that legal fees can come to something like 50,000.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And the indemnity you pay for that kind of legal fees is very little, something like 500-600. Am I right, Jafar?
For government doctors not doing locum, it's 350.
350 ringgit to a year for in case of a medical discipline hearing, or and you just want legal representation in something. I think it's something to seriously consider. But if they're doing private locum, of course, it's a different figure. But as I mentioned, you can go to the quote, Dr. Shield quote, and then you can play around with the online. Was it? Sorry, I got lost. I got too many. You can go to the drshield.com, the quote.thedrshield.com, and you can actually play around with it. I think you watched the earlier part of our video. We went through the screenshot, the whole flow. Okay. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, Jafar?
Yeah, I want to also get Puan Fazliza's opinion on the clinics. Puan Fazliza, I was actually mentioning just now to all the clinic owners that before they employ a locum doctor, please ensure that they are insured, right?
Yes.
And I also emphasize that a lot of clinics get named and then they come to us and ask us to, extend the individual doctor's insurance to the clinic. And we get into a dilemma because the Syndian Berhad is a separate entity. And a lot of doctors out there, at least from what I see, have not thought of insuring their clinic, which is Syndian Berhad. Now, what's your take on this?
In fact, now I can say that the trend, apart from suing those big hospital, I can see that nowadays, even for the small clinic, they are being sued as well. So usually for those owners, they are saying that, since all the doctors in the clinic is insured, therefore to them it's not necessary, for them to purchase indemnity for the clinic. But then at the end of the day, when there are two parties being named in the suit, basically there must be a two representation, one for the doctor itself and another one is actually for the clinic. So you cannot assume that, if each and every doctor is in the clinic is insured, therefore automatically the clinic is actually protected under the medical indemnity. That is not the case. For clinic, at the end of the day, if the judgment sum is more than 500 ringgit, that's the very least that someone can proceed with the winding up proceeding, basically for the whole company to be wind down, just with that. Even like for those hospital, if in between the hospital and also the consultant, usually the easy target will be against the hospital, because at the end of the day, you'll be issuing 218 notice where the prerequisite is 500 ringgit. If you can show that you're indebted for 500 ringgit, you can always proceed with winding up proceeding. So I believe it will be the same for those clinics. The same thing would happen where they will pledge, upon us to give a common representation. But at the end of the day, if you do not have any medical indemnity for the clinic, and nothing much that we can do, because we are stand guided by the insurance instruction. Hardly there'll be a common representation unless both parties are insured under the same insurer. Then it will be much more easier.
Okay. So anything else to add, guys? Otherwise, we come to an hour. We've had a very great discussion. So before we end, I'd just like to thank my guests. And Jafar, I think you know where to find him. He's the founder of Dr. Shield. So if you want to get a free online quote, that's where to get. So just go to quote the drshield.com. And Puan Fasilia has actually talked to us a few times. You can find her videos in our YouTube channel. She's a partner at Chan Ban Eng, and that's the website. That's where you can find Puan Fasilia's cbe.law. I didn't know there was a .law domain.
Yeah.
There's a .law domain. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's not easy to get domains. It took me some time to snag physician.my. Doctor.my gone already. Yeah, I managed to get physician.my. So please go to physician.my. That's where you can find our sister site for networking for doctors, because I think, we are chatting in Telegram, we are chatting in Facebook, but actually when you need to connect with each other professionally, you want to search. And in your self-configurable profile, you can put links, maybe to your clinic website, hospital website, but even then the address and how your colleagues can contact you. So email, number. And for me, I always like secure communication. I even put my silo link there for secure messaging for doctors. So lots of things you can do on your own profile in physician.my. And don't forget, competition is on for the next round by commenting in this video in YouTube, not Facebook, Telegram, and in this YouTube video only. We'll consider the best answer in 10 words or less why medical indemnity is important. Okay, and the winner will get another free Smart Doctor card. Okay, with this card you don't need to print hundreds of business cards. You just tap your colleague or patient's phone. Your listing will be transferred to the phone electronically through NFC, or if they don't have NFC, you can scan a QR code. Okay. All right. So please feel free to sign up with physician.my. Right. And Well, I'd like to thank all my guests again for a wonderful discussion and great reminder, especially for those running clinics and those doing private locums, if you're particularly a government doctor, because that's a big, big loophole. When you renew your APC, if you're a government doctor, they don't require you to upload private medical indemnity because they assume the government will cover you, but that is null and void the moment you do private locum, right? Okay, so please do that. Okay, so any last words? Otherwise, I would like to end the session because it's gone on 1 hour. Very informative, and I'd like to thank you all again, Puan Fazliza and Jafaya. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Alan. Thank you, Professor.
So good. So I look forward to contest entry starting from today till at least the end of next week in the next session. Then we'll announce the winner. Okay. All right, and I will contact the winner of last week's one, Andrew. Okay, congratulations again. You get a free Smart Doctor card. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast now. So good night, everyone. Have a great weekend ahead, and I'll see you in the next one. Yeah. Okay.